Back in Philadelphia, 40 degrees tonight. Some rain, snow mix scheduled overnight, but we should be precipitation free. There's Michael Vick on the sideline. Didn't think he was actually going to be here, but he's battling back from those concussion symptoms after the hit he took against Dallas 2 weeks ago. Missed the game against Washington last week, missing this game as he goes through the multiple phases. Maybe he will be cleared for next week, and we'll see what happens with Nick Foles or Vick as the quarterback. But the rookie will be on the field first as the Eagles won the toss and Brandon Boykin is back to receive. So the Panthers have a new place kicker. First time we are seeing Graham Gano, the former Redskin. The Panthers lost the toss for the 11th straight game. All 11 games this year, they've lost the opening coin toss. Touchback from Gano, and the Eagles will take over at the 20-yard line. So, John, as we bring out this Philadelphia offense, you better look at the names because a lot of guys you don't recognize. 5 players, rookies, or their first full year in the league.
Yeah, when you see that kind of inexperience, that tells me the Carolina Panthers are going to blitz the Philadelphia Eagles tonight. Teams have had a lot of success coming after the Eagles this year. Let's see if Philly can face them up tonight for their young quarterback.
You're saying, what's the difference between a rookie and a first-year guy? Guys who are on the practice squad were around but didn't play. Here's Foles, first play, first pass is caught. Out to the 30-yard line, Captain Munnerlyn able to bring down Deshaun Jackson. As those two get tangled up there. So Foles was taken in the 3rd round, 7th quarterback taken in the draft, 88 overall. Came into the Cowboy game after Vick was hurt, had to throw a lot. They fell behind Washington, had to throw a lot.
What a contrast, Mike. You replace Michael Vick, left-handed quarterback, extremely mobile with a pure pocket passer that's right-handed. Andy Reid will have his hands full tonight making that adjustment.
There's the direct snap to Bryce Brown, who's got the first down to the 36-yard line, brought down by Sherrod Martin. So direct snap to this rookie out of Kansas State.
Creative play. He intercepts the shotgun snap. Good backside blocking, allows Brown to cut it back. Good start for Philadelphia, a team that has been a terrible first quarter offense. They've been outscored 61-14. Important they have success early.
A.C. Brown's story, went to Tennessee after being highly recruited out of high school. 1 year there, Brown on the move to midfield and beyond to the 44-yard line. So a solid run of 20 for Bryce Brown on that play as he picks up another Eagle first down. So Brown was a high school stud, John. Went to Tennessee. Lane Kiffin left. He wanted to go where his brother was, Kansas State. Didn't play much there.
Well, it's just a weak side lead. Evan Mathis, Dallas Reynolds get a good double team on the nose tackle, and good cutback running by Bryce Brown. What a story he is, and these are 2 impressive runs. I like what the Eagles have done with formations and creativity early.
Marsh Johnson, rookie from Tulsa, in the lineup. And a Foles first down throw. Looking good. Good opening drive. Macklin the catch at the 30. Gain of 15 in front of the rookie Josh Norman.
Macklin got shut out last week against the Redskins. They threw 51 passes. Macklin had no catches. This time just a basic square in. They use traffic underneath, and Foles makes a good decision and an accurate throw. Good job by the Eagles running the ball and using the play action on early downs.
50 yards in 4 plays for the Eagles. First down, Selleck's open. Holds on as he takes the big hit from Sherrod Martin. First down for the Eagles tight end in the red zone.
I love this. This is an old-fashioned trap pass. They're going to pull the left guard. Evan Mathis get the linebackers to step up, and watch Selleck catch this ball before weak safety Sherrod Martin can close on him. But great concentration in a crowd. And Selleck, who's dropped 8 or 9 passes this year, has been a go-to target for the Eagles the last couple of years. They need him right now in the red zone.
Place where the Eagles have struggled mightily this year. Foles, incomplete, almost an interception as Sherrod Martin was there. So this Carolina defense getting moved on. The defensive coordinator, Sean McDermott. Remember, he was the Eagles defensive coordinator in 2009 and 2010.
Very underrated front 7, Mike. Greg Hardy, number 76. Charles Johnson. Two defensive ends that could be the first tandem to get double-digit sacks since the great Mike Rucker and Julius Peppers in 2002. They're young in the secondary. Keep an eye on that against these fast Eagle receivers.
Seeing Bryce Brown's speed. Foles couldn't get the handoff. Trying to get it to the edge to Bryce Brown there, and they just missed on the exchange.
This Philadelphia Eagle offense has been absolutely dreadful in the red zone, Mike. They move the ball between the 20s, and for some reason, when they get the ball into the red zone, lightning strikes. You see Foles on first down, force the ball into the middle of the field. Now you fumble a snap, you set up a 3rd and long, and Carolina look for him to rush 3, play maximum zone, and make it almost impossible.
Empty the backfield here on 3rd and 14. And Foles takes a shot, incomplete. Sherrod Martin had a chance at the interception, and we continue with the red zone. Young quarterback, things happen fast, and mistakes for the Eagles.
Well, you can't make this decision. He forced it on first down. He forces it on 3rd down. Sherrod Martin's playing safety in only passing situations. He read Foles like a book, and you got to make that play if you're Sherrod Martin, and Carolina's off the field. But 2 careless decisions and another horrific red zone possession for the Eagles.
Alex Henry for 17 in a row. And he ties his personal best, knocking through that 36-yarder. Good start to the opening drive. It ends in 3 for the Eagles. Some of the many talented folk on our Monday Night Football crew reassembled here in Philadelphia to wrap up this week in the NFL, this Thanksgiving week, and the Eagles get an opening drive field goal, and now Cam Newton's turn as the Panthers will get on the field. Monty Edwards used to be a quarterback at Appalachian State. He's really not produced very much as a wide receiver, a 3rd-round pick. And the kick return roll, he takes it from the 1. And Edwards out across the 25 to get him to the 28-yard line. And Jamar Chaney brings him down. Here comes Cam Newton. Great totals. And look at the people around him. The guys you know. Stewart, Williams, Smith, Greg Olsen. Those are some familiar offensive names, John.
Yeah, but you didn't go over the offensive line,
no,
Mike. They've had no continuity on the offensive line. Been a revolving door at right guard. They're going to have to be very careful in pass protection tonight because the Eagles' strength on defense is rushing the passer.
First down run, Jonathan Stewart taking up the middle to the 34-yard line. Former 1st-round pick. So is this guy, the number 1 overall pick. John, so many rushing touchdowns last year, eye-popping numbers in every phase of the game. Not that dynamic season for Newton.
Well, he took the world by storm last year. Remember, there was a lockout that impacted defenses also. This year, defenses had 16 films to watch Cam Newton carefully. They're taking away Steve Smith. They're giving him some different looks. He's got to respond to them.
This is 2nd and 4, and right back to Stewart. Got to the outside, got a Steve Smith block to get the first down. Kurt Coleman makes the tackle for the Philadelphia defense. 2 terrific running backs. We've seen good years out of Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams. They're averaging 3.5 yards a carry. Very low for that duo.
It's incredible. Double trouble. They used to call Stewart and D'Angelo Williams, and it's doubly important tonight that they get more mileage out of these 2 backs. They also signed Mike Tolbert, a very good back from the San Diego Chargers. They got to use them more and get more out of them, that's for sure.
On the 39, Newton throws for Steve Smith, complete right at the sticks. And the all-time leading receiver in Panther history, close to a first down.
Closing in on 11,000 yards, but it's a timing pattern. 5-step drop, outside breaking route. Ball's thrown perfectly on time, and Smith does a great job walking the chalk on the sidelines. But this is an area Cam Newton continues to show some development. Timing, anticipation in the drop-back passing game. This is something he never did before he became a Carolina Panther.
Smith is 33 years old. Still very productive. There's Mike Tolbert. John mentioned there's a heck of a 3rd option there. A running back picks up the first down around midfield. This Philadelphia defense has given up a couple of early first downs. It has been a struggle for Todd Bowles since he replaced the fired Juan Castillo. 11 touchdowns, no interceptions in the secondary these 4 games under Bowles.
Well, the most memorable plays they've made have been broken coverages this year. They need to make some positive, memorable plays. Return an interception for a touchdown. Get a sack, strip, and fumble. And against this spread offense, you're going to see Asamoah, Cromartie, these 2 safeties. They're going to have to step up and make some one-on-one tackles.
First down, a little read. Cam over the top to Steve Smith. Hung on to the hot shot for 15 first down yards.
I still don't know how to stop this protection. I really don't. You got to stop the running play. You got to stop Newton. The line's going to slide. They come across with the tight end, and they throw a slant pattern to Steve Smith. I don't know how you stop it, Mike. RG3 of the Redskins, Cam Newton of the Carolina Panthers have shredded opponents with that action, and Steve Smith just went over 11,000 yards. What a career.
Not 11 at 11, but 11-0-11. What a great first dozen years in the league for Smith. And coming around, it's Brandon LaFell, the third-year man out of LSU. And he gets to the 29-yard line. It's a good gain of 6 before Ryans and Allen make the tackle. John, you went up against Steve Smith in your days in Tampa, and no, you're not really thrilled to see number 89 on the field.
Oh, I never liked Steve Smith. He has over 11,000. I think 3,800 came against me. All-time leading receiver, I'll add, in the NFC South. What a productive player. Hasn't really had a Hall of Fame quarterback here in Carolina either. He's adjusted to all kind of change, but one of the best game day football players in the business.
How about this formation? But $60 million of guaranteed money in the backfield, and it's Newton keeping and getting to the 24-yard line. That'll be another Panther first down. It's been a nice opening drive for Carolina.
I told you they need to use these 3 backs, Mike. There they are. You see Tolbert, you see Williams, and you see Jonathan Stewart. He's going to stick the ball in Stewart's gut, come out here on the option. Cam can run it or pitch it. This Cam Newton is 255 pounds. He's an Iceman with the football. He has no fear. He's protected it for the most part during his career. He's got to protect the top of his head and his right shoulder and stay healthy for this Panther offense.
D'Angelo Williams stays in as the back. Newton's got time. He's got a touchdown. Gary Barnidge, the former tight end out of Louisville. And the Eagle defense hearing it as the Panthers walk right down the field and score.
Well, Rob Chudzinski just called one of the best 3 deep zone beaters there is in football. The old-fashioned sluggo seam. You run a sluggo. If it's there, you throw it, but you try to move the free safety and get Barnidge right down the seam. But watch Cam pump to his right, move the free safety. Easy touchdown for the Panthers. Sensational opening drive on the road. And it's been the same old story for the Philadelphia Eagle defense.
Career touchdown number 1 for Barnidge. Extra point added by Graham Gano, the place kicker. Cam Newton throws touchdown 10, and the Panthers lead. About 8 plays and 72 yards. And perfect on the opening drive for Cam Newton. They broke out the diamond formation in the backfield. They did a lot of different things. So credit Rob Chudzinski and the Panthers offense for this good start as they take a 7-3 lead against an Eagles defense that has just been moved on so easily the last 4 games.
It's hard to believe, Mike. It really is. There's a lot of talent, individual talent in this Eagle defense, but they haven't got it done collectively.
Graham Gano kicks. Brandon Boykin gets a chance this time. Tripped up at the 15-yard line. Pretty good special teams play by Jordan Sen.
You know what I learned over the last couple years from Jaworski was eye manipulation. Watch Cam Newton manipulate the safety. He looks him off and opens the middle of the field for an easy 6 points for Carolina.
About 3/4 full Lincoln Financial Field on this Monday night as the Eagles try to get out of their 6-game slide. Put a nice drive together to start. Stalled in the red zone. That's been a lot of the story of this Philadelphia season. And Nick Foles takes over from the 16. And in for the injured LaShawn McCoy. It's Bryce Brown with the carry of about 3 yards. Back to that last drive for Philly.
Well, it was nice till they got to the red zone. Nick Foles is clearly late down the middle. Should have been intercepted by Sherrod Martin. Then they fumble a snap. They're way behind in the down and distance. And you're late down the middle again. These free safeties are all over Nick Foles' eyes. Sherrod Martin should have had 2 interceptions. Philly has to learn quickly to finish a drive.
Foles with pressure gets sacked by Greg Hardy. That is a career-high 8 on the year for the third-year man out of Ole Miss.
Yeah, he's got 8 in his last 9 games, and King Dunlap at left tackle continues to struggle. Take a look at Greg Hardy come off the ball and work King Dunlap on the edge. Good inside penetration makes it tough for Foles to step up, and Dunlap, who had real struggles last week in Washington, continues to struggle.
So it's 3rd and 19, and Foles throws the slant. Riley Cooper for the catch. That'll be well shy of the first down. And they'll kick it away. So one good drive, 1 3 and out with the sack. And the boos send the Eagle offense to the sideline and bring out McBriar, the punter.
Well, there's just too many negative plays in this Eagles offense, and when you have a young quarterback, you fall behind in the down and distance. Head coach Ron Rivera, he's been in enough of these type of games. He'll make your life miserable.
Joe Adams, John, is back for the punt. He's the 4th-round pick out of Arkansas. A very good punt return year last year for the Hogs. 42 yards, fair caught by Adams at the 44. So it's drive 2 in good field position for Cam Newton. Excellent on the opening drive. Act 2 when you come back. D'Amico Ryans, Trent Cole, Nnamdi Asomugha, a lot of guys who've been there and big names to this defense, but since the coordinator changed, look at this. 79% completion percentage, 12 touchdowns, no picks, and a passer rating of 146.
They better keep an eye at the top of the screen on Joe Adams. This is a guy Carolina likes to get the ball too deep.
They'll run it with Stewart. They used Adams as a ghost, just a fake there, and it's a first down and a gain of about 11 for Stewart. Officially 12.
And Cromartie, he's got to get ready to stick his face in the pile and make some tackles. They're not even going to block Cromartie tonight. They're going to let Jonathan Stewart get to the outside, stiff-arm Cromartie, and force him to make tackles. If they find a weak link in your tackling unit, the Carolina Panthers have an arsenal of ways to get an outstanding back on the edge, and as good as Cromartie is as a cover guy, he's got to step up and become a better tackler.
Newton fakes to Adams, setting up the screen, too tall, and there were very few green shirts in the path of Jonathan Stewart.
First time I've seen the Eagles blitz tonight. Remember the great Jim Johnson, the defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles, Mike? He brought more than 5 defenders a lot here in Philadelphia in the glory days that I can recall of this Eagle defense. They've been a team that has relied on 4-man pressure for the most part. They need to get their front 4 revved up. There's a lot of high-priced free agents, high draft choices. They're playing against an inexperienced Panther offensive line. They got to deliver tonight for Philly.
On 2nd and 10, they pressure Newton, who throws wide open. There goes Brandon LaFell. Another touchdown against the Eagles secondary.
I've never seen more wide open receivers. Unbelievable. It's a weak side blitz from Boykin, and no one covers LaFell. You're going to see the blitz coming off your weak side. There's nobody in the middle of the field to cover LaFell. This is the easiest touchdown that Brandon LaFell has scored since his sophomore year at LSU. Inexcusable breakdowns. That's the 2nd wide open seam route for touchdowns. Barnage and LaFell got to be thinking this is easy. Why didn't we call these plays all year?
That's right. Touchdown number 4 on the season for Brandon LaFell. Bluebirds are out in Philadelphia. Our defense has been horrific. Cam Newton's taking advantage, on time, on target, and on top by 11. Well, Cam Newton's liking this. His numbers are a lot better than they have been.
See him talking to Mike Shula. Mike Shula former Alabama Crimson Tide coach and quarterback. How strange is that? He's coaching Cam Newton from Auburn.
That's right.
That blown coverage, I'll lose sleep for weeks over that.
We'll go back and look at that after the break. After the kick by Graham Gano. Just signed as a Panther, a couple extra points, 3 kickoffs, a couple of touchbacks. All right, show us, please.
I don't know what they're doing. You're going to see obviously a blown coverage. Brandon Boykin blitzes off the slot. Kurt Coleman blitzes off the weak side. And Nate Allen cuts to his left, and no one covers. Brandon LaFell down the seam. Somebody made a mistake. Somebody wasn't supposed to blitz. It's been the story of Philadelphia this fall. Somebody didn't communicate. Somebody didn't do what they're supposed to do.
Here's Foles taking over from the 20, slips it to Selleck, who gets leveled by Hardy, who had the sack on the last drive. Just a gain of 3. And a flag down. The first time tonight. We get to hear from Pete Morelli, our referee.
Greg Hardy, what an effort player he is. Interesting call here.
Personal foul, unnecessary ruckus, hit to a defenseless player, 15-yard penalty, number 76.
Wow.
They should throw that on the quarterback. You can't throw the ball late back into the middle of the field and expect anything else.
You would assume the defenseless part is looking at the helmet, the crown of the helmet.
Quarterback should never throw the ball back into the pursuit of the defense, or something bad is going to happen.
You know, you talked about that a couple of years ago. Go back to a play James Harrison was fined significantly on against the Browns. And a lot of times young quarterbacks are responsible for where those throws go. As Deshaun Jackson gains a couple of yards.
This young linebacker is going to be a star in this league. Luke Kuechly out of Boston College. He's a top 10 pick. It's going to be a reverse. Watch him recognize it, fall back, and make a play against Deshaun Jackson. But Luke Kuechly, he's a hard guy to fool. The most productive tackling linebacker in ACC history. He would have been the all-time leading tackler in college football history had he stayed at Boston College. And man, do they like him in Carolina.
From the 40, Foles with the man in his face, throws it to Brown, I should say, to the 45-yard line. A couple of yards shy of the first down is Bryce Brown. You mentioned Kuechly, John. Boy, Ron Rivera could not be more effusive about his leadership qualities. Started at weak side linebacker, then John Beeson, longtime Panther, gets hurt. Kuechly goes to his natural spot in the middle, has really taken off.
And for a rookie linebacker, they run a little AFC package, automatic front and coverage. And they let Luke Kuechly automatic to a front and a coverage based on what he sees. Here he comes in the double A-gap look.
It's 3rd and 3. They drop out of there, and a Bryce Brown run turns into a first down at midfield. Gain of 5.
That's one thing Andy Reid told us, Mike. Thank goodness Nick Foles is smart. They are playing so many rookies, inexperienced players. Nick Foles sees the double A. He has a run audible. He gets the audible communicated, and he executes it for a big first down. But that's what Nick Foles can do for you. He can handle a lot of football. He's a sharp, young prospect.
Used a little hard count there. Got Carolina to show what they were going to do. It's a direct snap. Second time to Brown. Past the edge of Dwan Edwards. And a nice run by Brown. Stays in bounds. Boy, he's doing a nice job in his first start since high school back in 2008.
Tell you who I really like for this Eagle offense is Riley Cooper, number 14. Watch him come in here and block this strong safety. And when he does that, that corner's got to replace as a tackler. But Riley Cooper does a great job blocking Godfrey. And that forces number 24, Josh Norman, into a tackling situation. Great work by Riley Cooper.
Brown out for a break. Dion Lewis, who doesn't have a touch yet this year, does now. Gave him about 1.5 yards. Dion Lewis out of Pittsburgh, 5th-round pick last year, had 23 carries, but with the injuries to LaShawn McCoy And really, Bryce Brown and Chris Polk, who's also hurt, when they came in this year, they passed Lewis on the depth chart, and he's barely been active this season.
And if you look into that Philadelphia Eagle huddle, you take away Michael Vick and LaShawn McCoy, not many other Eagles have touched the ball for this offense.
Deshaun Jackson came out 2 snaps ago, and he's being looked at and taken back to the locker room for evaluation. So the injuries continue to mount. 2nd and 8, Foles running for his life. Just gets rid of it as the quarter comes to an end. Rookie Frank Alexander flushed him out of the pocket. After one in Philadelphia, 14-3 Panthers on Monday Night Football. Jeffrey Lurie has owned the Philadelphia Eagles, chairman and CEO, a decade and a half plus now, and very successful teams, and simply not used to losing. Remember, Lurie started this season talking about 8-8 from last year being unacceptable. Well, the Eagles now in a position where they have to win the last 6 games to do better than that. Lurie has been very quiet about the future of Andy Reid as head coach and anything else in this organization. He's kind of stayed off the record and out of the interview situations as things have slid down. 3rd and 8, Foles takes a hit, delivers complete. It's a couple of yards shy of the first down, and bring up 4th and 2. Jawan Edwards with the pressure. Macklin had the catch. Lisa, what about Deshaun Jackson?
Yeah, Mike, you saw him go back to the Eagles locker room. He went back for x-rays. I'm told they're evaluating his chest and collarbone. His return status is still unclear. We'll know more in just a little bit.
Okay, Lisa, thank you. So Andy Reid sends the field goal unit out on 4th and 2 as Alex Henry tries to set a Eagles franchise record. Philadelphia getting their 11th man out there as Fletcher Cox reports eligible on the wing. Henry from 41. 18 straight. So he sets an Eagle record. Philly back within 1 score. One of our largest, most beautiful cities in America, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Our aerial coverage on this 40-degree night brought to you by DirecTV. That's that run right down there, John, to the Art Museum, to the Rocky Steps. Where were you this afternoon, 2:30? Made it all the way up the steps.
I was watching Reed
sprinting. There's so many great museums down in that part of the city, just a little bit a ways from Center City in Philadelphia. 14-6. 5 possessions, 4 scores. Armonte Edwards will bring this one out. A good hit, well read by Colt Anderson, a backup safety, and it'll be a long field for the Panthers. Well, Eagles here in the NFC East, and the Redskins and the Giants in an all-NFC East weekend next week. Cowboys going to play the Eagles, but then we will see on Monday night Eli Manning take on RG3 in our nation's capital with the Redskins 2 games back in the division. What a tremendous Thanksgiving by RG3. And then Eli responds last night with a great effort for the Giants in their impressive win over the Packers. So RG3 and Eli next week. Cam Newton here this week. Jonathan Stewart on a toss to the left to the 22-yard line and a gain of 8. We mentioned Robert Griffin III and what he's been able to do, the number 2 pick of last year's draft. John, 4 or more touchdowns, back-to-back games. First rookie quarterback to do that in NFL history.
He's the most exciting guy in pro football, Mike. He can run real fast. If he gets the edge, he's gone. I think he's the rookie of the year. He's got the Redskins on his back right now. They just anointed him the team captain, and I got a feeling it'll be rocking next week in Washington because a lot to be decided in this NFC East. I can't wait.
It'll be the game to probably tell us if we're going to have a race the last 3 weeks. Ham on the keep. He dances for the first down at the 26-yard line.
There's so much misdirection. I don't even know who has the ball. That time, I think Trent Cole. Watch Trent Cole. Cam Newton's going to put the ball in Jonathan Stewart's body. You don't know who has the ball, but you better take care of the perimeter. Obviously, Trent Cole's assigned to Jonathan Stewart, but it's going to force these linebackers to tackle Cam Newton one-on-one in space. The ball handling in this Carolina attack is fun to watch.
Newton adjusting the play at the line. D'Angelo Williams is back. Ham shot to Steve Smith is incomplete. Smith continuing this pushing and shoving after every play, this time with Kurt Coleman. Well, let me come back to that. What you were talking about, the defensive ends and the wide nines that we talked about Philadelphia last 2 years, style of defense they play. Is that harder or easier to play against the RG3s and the Cam Newtons of the world?
I think it's hard to play against these Cam Newtons and RG3s of the world because these Eagles are trained to get up the field and attack the quarterback, who's normally 5 to 7 yards deep behind the center. You got to be careful getting up the field against Cam Newton and RG3. They might be handing the ball off or running option plays.
Pete Morelli just reset the play clock back to 25 before the 2nd and 10. It's been a quiet year with Trent Cole and Jason Babbitt. They were nuts last year. 29 sacks. This year they've combined for 6. D'Angelo Williams. D'Amico Ryans tackles him after a gain. Only 2 yards. John is a guy who gained 1,515 yards back in 2008. A Pro Bowler. Another 1,000-yard plus season after that. Panthers all-time leading rusher, but he's seen his productivity slide the last year.
Well, they drafted Jonathan Stewart. That cut into some of his productivity. And then they've had quarterback changes. They've had system changes, coaching changes. He used to be an I formation downhill back. And now he's carrying a lot of lateral read option type plays. It's a year of transition for sure for D'Angelo, but he's still a heck of a back.
Credit these Philly fans trying to support their defense on 3rd down. Newton's pass is incomplete. And after 2 drives with touchdowns, the Eagles will force Carolina's first punt of the evening.
Well, that's what Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie can do. He can cover. This time it's number 23, DCR against Steve Smith on a little arrow route. And Cromartie, who already has 3 interceptions, has unquestionable ball skills. That time he almost got his 4th interception. And watch out for this kid, Mike. This Damaris Johnson. He's been known to make some plays with the ball in his hands.
Rookie punter Brad Nortman's hit a bunch of line drives this year. A lot of room for Johnson. Return across the 40 to the 42. The flag comes in as Colin Jones and Jason Phillips make the late tackle. Would have been a net of just 30 in good field position for the Eagles, depending on the flag.
During a return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, 10-yard penalty, 1st down, timeout.
That's what happens when you're not a good team. Those good opportunities of field position get wiped away. It's only the 2nd time all year that Carolina had a quarter with 2 touchdowns. So Andy Reid sees his defense make a play there in the 2nd quarter. With the Panthers to punt, comes over and gives them a good word. So defensive line coach Jim Washburn talking to his troops. I was going to say the Eagles started for 32, but Jake Scott takes that 5 back.
Remains, 1st down.
Jake Scott had a couple of those last week against the Redskins, but in fairness to Jake Scott, Mike, he's only been a Philadelphia Eagle for about 2 weeks. The ex-Indianapolis Colt, ex-Tennessee Titan thrust into service, and he's probably just learning the audibles and the snap count.
Empty backfield, 1st down for the rookie Foles. Good throw caught. Damaris Johnson, another rookie as well. But John, you mentioned the offensive line. It's the 5th different starting combination here this season. A couple of left tackles, a couple of centers after the Jason Kelsey injury. 3 right guards. That's the position where Scott is. Todd Harriman's the right tackle's on injured reserve. Evan Mathis, only player to start at every game. Only Eagle to play every snap either side of the ball this year.
Look, that's impossible to overcome that. I credit Howard Mudd, Andy Reid for hanging in there, but that's a tall order when you lose 4 starters.
Then you have your backup quarterback and running back, but Bryce Brown is putting on a show tonight. Here goes Brown. Can they get him? No! What a run! Bryce Brown, welcome to the NFL.
I love pro football. Every year you discover a new star. Well, a couple years ago we said, who is Arian Foster? He's not drafted. He's a guy that came out of Tennessee. This year it's Bryce Brown. from Knoxville to Manhattan, Kansas. He rips it off the right side, picks up the block, and he is gone. He gives the Philadelphia Eagles a big back, and he gives this city some life. Just where they need it the most, right here at this football stadium. And I like a big back that can get the corner and finish. Great work.
This is interesting, John. Rarely do you see a coach go for two this early in the game. We're not even a third of the way through the game. And Andy Reid's going to make the choice to go here. They're first trying to confirm the touchdown before they...
After we show them our formation. Unbelievable.
And the touchdown is now confirmed from upstairs. As he got through the Charles Godfrey tackle at the end, stayed inbounds for the score. Eagles for the tie. Foles making it up as he goes along here. Tries to get it to Clay Harbor, but it's incomplete, and Foles took a hit. There's also a penalty marker down. As Foles jogs off. Flag thrown in the backfield.
Holding, number 65, offense. Penalty will be declined.
King Dunlap with the hold. And the try is no good. Bryce Brown's over 100 yards with that touchdown. He's got 118. Foles took a nasty shot on this two-point conversion. Point game here in Philadelphia. You know Andy Reid's story. Most wins in Eagles history. Been here a long time. 14 years, 4 seasons where he had McNabb the whole year. Got up to the Super Bowl. They lost. First time the Eagles have been to the Super Bowl in a while. There's been a lot of change in this division, especially Washington and Dallas. But Andy's been here since '99. But the thing Philadelphia fans will come back to and point to, there's no gold star. There's no championship. Bud Grant and Jeff Fisher are the only coaches with one team who have more wins and not a championship, and then Andy Reid. So what's it going to be at the end, John? Is it the great success that Andy had as we watch the opening kickoff after that drive be taken by Armonte Edwards for the Panthers? He'll get just to the 20-yard line on the return. And what's it going to be as Andy Reid's job's future is being discussed? You know, you coached here as an assistant. Dick Vermeil was a head coach here. You understand the difficulty of this city and that position.
Oh, there's no question. It's difficult in any city. Let's make that point perfectly clear. But after spending time with Dick Vermeil, he went a long time here as well, and he failed to get the Eagles to the Super Bowl championship. But you have Dick Vermeil, you have Andy Reid. They'll have legacies that last forever here in Philadelphia. And you hate to hear Andy Reid get booed and some of the negativity that's gone on this year, but he's mentally tough. He'll find a way to get through it no matter what happens in the end of it.
From the 20, Cam Newton taking over. Good pressure against Newton. His pass is perfect to Greg Olsen, the tight end, and a gain of 23 yards. What a throw by Newton.
What a throw. Let's take a look at this throw. He throws this ball falling backwards, and he flicked it out there perfectly to Olsen. Watch Cam Newton. Under duress, he's just going to flick this ball with perfect trajectory, and it lands just perfectly to Greg Olsen. Great clear out by Brandon LaFell, but this is a two-back play action pass, and watch Newton just flick this ball. Gets hit right in the face, and those are the plays that you marvel at when you watch Cam Newton.
$164 yards for the Panthers so far, and that pass in traffic for Brandon LaFell. It's incomplete with Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie in there on the coverage.
And I think that is part of the frustration with Cam this year in his second season. You work a route all week on the practice field. It's wide open. Sometimes in a game it doesn't work out that way. And that time he forces the ball to his right in there to Brandon LaFell. Don't throw it. Find somewhere else to go with it. Don't be late down the middle, and don't force the ball into congested areas. That's an area Cam needs to continue to improve.
Jonathan Stewart's the back, and he is snowed under by Derek Landry. Big loss thanks to the former Notre Dame star.
Well, Carolina has a rookie at left guard, Amini Silatolu, and Landry just jets right up the field and makes an impact tackle for loss. I don't know if 61 Silatolu was expecting help from his center, but he didn't get it. And penetration will kill you. Big third down and long.
Sweet for Landry, starter for the Panthers, 16 games 2 years ago.
See if Babin and Cole, these two defensive ends, can heat them up.
17. Newton retreating. Open is Olsen. Rogers, Cromartie, and Asamoah tackle him at midfield. They combine to keep him 3 yards shy of the first down.
Good pass rush by the Philadelphia Eagles, but once again, Cam Newton earns a lot of people's respect. He stands in there, delivers a strike to Olsen, and you got to like the way the Philadelphia Eagles ran to the ball that time, Mike. Asamoah got help from D'Amico Ryans late, and they hold Carolina just shy of the first down.
They needed 17. They got 14. So the rookie out of Wisconsin. Back to kick. End over end kick by Nortman. Fielded on the run by Johnson. Just a 29-yard punt, and Johnson did a nice job to come get it and take it to the 39. And it's only 11 yards of net.
There's an interesting story for you. Keep an eye on him, Eagle fans. Johnson can make some things happen.
All-time all-purpose yardage man, NCAA history out of Tulsa. It's returned by Johnson. Eagles have scored on 3 of their first 4 drives. Missed the 2-point conversion a moment ago, and Bryce Brown, who had the touchdown earlier, continues his good night. He has 128 rushing yards here in the first half.
I give Howard Mudd a lot of credit, the offensive line coach. This is a 2-back inside zone. Great cutback running by Bryce Brown. Then he intercepts a shotgun snap, picks up a block on a perimeter, and he gets a corner again. And then it's a creative weak side zone play again. Good perimeter block, and no one touches Bryce Brown. He just ripped off another 10 yards on a 1-back draw. A lot of good stuff from the Eagle running game. They're scheming Carolina's front.
Nick Foles, first down pass. It's caught by Damaris Johnson. Lisa Salters has more on the star running back for Philly tonight.
Yeah, Mike, well, remember, Bryce Brown quit the Kansas State football program 3 games into the season last year. He continued to work out. When he went back to legendary head coach Bill Snyder and said, hey, can I participate in pro day? Bill Snyder said, we're not going to talk football. I want to know what you're doing about your education. He said before they even talked football, Bill Snyder and him, they worked out a plan to get him back in school, and then Bill Snyder let him participate in pro day. That's how he is here with the Eagles right now. Mike?
It's an odd story, Lisa. A guy who barely played last year, drafted in the 7th round. Being spelled here by Dion Lewis, yard shy of the first down. So Johnny goes to Tennessee, plays there for a year, and then Lane Kiffin leaves to go to USC. So he's going to transfer. And his brother is a very good linebacker at Kansas State. He goes there. It's not a fit. His dad wanted him to go there to Kansas State. It's not a fit. So that's what sets up Lisa's story of how he only plays a few games, walks away from the team. And Andy Reid did a lot of phone calling, a lot of asking people, and he was convinced at the background check that this guy could be a very productive player. McCoy gets hurt. Here's Brown. And here's a guy with 133 yards, more than any Eagle rookie has had in a game since Correll Buckhalter back in 2001.
I like him because he's a big back. You know, we talked to Dick Vermeil. He had Wilbert Montgomery. I had Ricky Waters. Andy Reid has had great backs here. Westbrook, McCoy. But this third down is short. You need a 220-pound back to slam it in there, get a first down. I like the way Bryce Brown has taken advantage of the opportunity presented to him tonight. That's what you have to do as a young player. Cash in when opportunity knocks.
Dion Lewis with his opportunity to run. Still going is Lewis to the 26-yard line. He gets a first down. So Lewis, who because of the other backs we talked about wasn't seeing the field, makes the most of his opportunity.
A weak side counter play, but just a lot of good stuff. Good creativity here by the Philadelphia Eagles. They do an excellent job on the backside. They're running the ball from the shotgun. They're running it from a 2-back set. All kind of misdirection. I've even seen the ball intercepted in the shotgun. They have Carolina completely off balance, and that's what you need to do with a young quarterback, Mike. Run the football, take the pressure off him.
Foles to the 26. Lewis, he gets met. Gained him a couple of yards. Nice tackle coming up from Sherrod Martin, the safety. So why are all these backs getting the opportunity? It's LaShawn McCoy, injured late in the game. It was a very one-sided affair at this point with Washington. 31-6. McCoy takes that shot. Concussion. He's carted off. And he has had trouble getting back to start the phases of recovery for a concussion to be cleared to play. Still having trouble sleeping. It's been a very difficult time period for McCoy as he tries to come back from his injury. Same true with Michael Vick. Why Foles has started. Screening to Brown. Carolina was on that. It was well read off the corner, too, by Josh Norman. And the tackle goes to Dwan Edwards.
I look out there for Carolina. I see number 58, Thomas Davis, and it just amazes me that he's playing pro football. Great Carolina Panther. 3 straight years he's had serious ACL surgeries on the same right knee, Mike. A lot of dark, dim moments for Thomas Davis. What an inspiring story for him to come back, make over 60 tackles, and really inspire a lot of players who've had injuries in their careers.
3rd and 10. Foles. And to come back late towards Brown. It was almost going back the other way with Josh Norman. It's a couple of times John Foles has been late, and it's almost cost him.
Josh Norman, another rookie, right corner out of Coastal Carolina, started every game for Carolina. You have to be very careful throwing the ball out of rhythm when you're late. Make sure you see throws, young quarterbacks. That's the 3rd time tonight Nick Foles has thrown the ball without seeing much. That's going to cost him if it continues.
It's Alex Henry from 45 off the high snap. Henry knocks through another one. 19 in a row. And the Eagles lead by 1. Eagles lead by 1. I know Philly fans have been a little bit disgruntled with the Eagles and the way things have been going. Sixers off to a tough start. I know Charlotte fans are with us tonight, and they're not with the Bobcats, their NBA team. Their NBA team scored 24 in the first half against Oklahoma City. As a matter of fact, the Panthers outscored the Bobcats in the first quarter. Panthers had 14 with Cam Newton. The Bobcats had 12. The score against Oklahoma City at one point tonight was 82-29. So I know the Charlotte sports fans with us tonight.
How do you know these things?
No, the Bobcats. Watching a lot of stuff up here. Hey, tell me, Cam Newton is learning how to become an NFL quarterback, going back to his days at Auburn where he ran an offense that was nowhere near as complex as what he has to do here in the league.
Well, that's not his fault. He's just got to continue to develop. And it'll take some time.
3:20 left. Touchdowns the first couple of drives. 2 punts since and a loss of almost 5. And Stewart is stopped easily by Trent Cole. You think back to Cam Newton at Auburn, and you kind of remember everybody looking over the sideline to the coach and send me a play so I can look at my wristband. They weren't calling plays in the huddle until they got here.
Well, that's college football, Mike. I don't know how many quarterbacks I've met that everybody looks to the sideline in college football. No one's in the huddle anymore. Right. It's not Cam Newton's fault. But this is going to be a real transition for him as he continues to learn Rob Chudzinski's offense. Remember, Chudzinski came from that San Diego Charger background. They'd like Cam to do what he did at Auburn and also do some of the things you've seen Phillip Rivers do.
I set up the screen here to Stewart. Rico Ryans missed the tackle. Babin cleans it up by the 22-yard line. Newton got pushed down at the end. Go back to Chudzinski. Make a point. That's the system that he had there.
Yeah, Chudzinski's system is very verbal. There's a lot of stuff you got to say, and there's a lot they expect from the quarterback. But, Mike, look at Cam Newton in the huddle. And I'm telling you, they call shifts, motions, different personnel groupings. This guy, Chudzinski's an excellent football coach. He has a lot of things that he would like to do. He's done a lot of things that Cam is good at, and they're trying to bring Newton along and win games in the process. That's tough duty.
It's an interesting point, trying to blend the two offenses together as well. 2-minute warning here in Philadelphia. We're a halftime show coming up. Chris Berman, Adam Schefter. You'll hear Tom Coughlin from the locker room after the Giants win last night. 4th and 29. How in the wide world? Boomer's take on the Ray Rice play. No suspension for Ndamukong Suh after the Thanksgiving play against Houston. Adam will have the news on that. as Chris Berman takes you through the Toyota halftime show. Coming up, full complement of timeouts both ways, 3rd and 7. And Newton flushed again. There's Cam taking off. And a first down for Cam Newton, out of bounds at the 34-yard line.
He's a luxury vehicle is what he is. What a great pickup by D'Angelo Williams. And when you get in trouble and you need a ride, just let Cam Newton. Actually, it was Jonathan Stewart picking up D'Amico Ryans flush on a blitz. But when you have a quarterback that can get out of trouble and gain 15 yards and make it look that easy, it makes you not want to blitz. But you can't lose contain. You must not let Newton outside the pocket.
Now the Panthers can hop into 2-minute mode. It's the 4-man rush. Second throw for Newton, incomplete. Brandon LaFell broke open. And Cam couldn't deliver to him. John, quick update here on the Eagles side. Injury to Deshaun Jackson. Those x-rays, the collarbone and chest, have come back negative. It's called a sternum injury for Andy Reid's receiver. Deshaun Jackson's return doubtful.
And what else is new for Andy Reid? He's already missing Jason Avant, his 3rd receiver. Now he's missing Jackson, McCoy, Michael Vick, and 4 starters on his line. Credit to them that they have the lead in this football game.
Second and 10. And here comes Stewart. The 35-yard line. This Eagle defense has played better the last few drives, and they're going to stop the clock and take a timeout in hopes of getting the ball back. 96 seconds left in the half. Jimmy Clausen, former Notre Dame quarterback, has the stocking cap on. He's the 3rd quarterback, been inactive all year. Derek Anderson's the backup for the #1 pick from 2 years ago, Cam Newton.
And I like what Andy Reid did there, taking a timeout, show confidence in my defense. Stop the clock, set your defense up, get the call you want, unleash Babin, unleash Cole, get after Cam Newton and get the ball back for your offense. See how it plays out.
No Fletcher Cox, first-round pick defensive lineman for the Eagles, tailbone injury. His return is questionable. X-rays negative on his lower back. Newton, high throw, incomplete. So he had LaFell open twice, John, in that series. Inaccurate with the passes, and the Panthers have to punt it away.
Well, Cam Newton needs to make these throws. If you want to be a football team that's going to contend for championships, you got to make throws in tight windows on 3rd down. And Brandon LaFell comes out of motion, runs a sharp slant right across Asamoah's face. That's a gash, but you have to deliver the ball accurately, and Cam knows it.
Ortman's kicks have not been good yet. This is going to be interference with the opportunity to make the catch on the Panthers and will improve the Eagles' field position. It's Josh Thomas, the offending party.
Takes a lot of guts to be a punt returner. Guys are flying all over the place. You see Hughes trying to get a block, and I don't know what you call here. We might need to bring Jerry
Fair catch
Austin in.
interference. Kicking team. 15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
Got to give him a chance to catch it. And the Eagles, you mentioned the timeout. Now they're going to get 15 from the infraction spot, and that'll give them good field position here.
Special teams have been a real problem for Carolina. They recently let their special teams coach go. And Nick Foles has plenty of time with 2 timeouts left.
Ryan Murphy was fired 2 weeks ago. Ron Rivera's special teams coach Richard Rodgers, who was on the field for the play, Stanford Cal game back 32 years ago. He's now taken over. First down, they'll run with Brown. He'll lose yardage. Right. Bryce Brown is stopped.
Charles Johnson says, you're not getting me on that draw play. He's seen that enough. They're trying to sift the tackle right through to the linebacker, and Charles Johnson says, I'll just get out of my pass rush and stuff that play.
So the loss of 4. Brown out of the backfield made a nice move in the open field on Captain Munnerlyn. Got to the 40-yard line. 53 seconds left. Timeout Philadelphia.
This is a good opportunity for Carolina on defense to close, to finish the first half, Mike. It's an area of concern for Ron Rivera and his Carolina football team. They have not finished games. This is a good opportunity for them to finish the first half with their defense, something they failed to do miserably last week against the Buccaneers.
A lot of former ties here tonight. Ron Rivera was on Andy Reid's staff early on, and that first year they won 5 games, and they turned it around and started that great run of success. And he's on the hot seat at 2-8 with his Carolina team in his second year. Same thing they opened last year. We talk about the defensive ties. The name Jim Johnson comes up so often when you watch Eagle games and talk about Eagle games. It's the imprint he's had on the style of defense. Rivera and Sean McDermott is now the coordinator for Carolina and used to be that here in Philly.
No doubt. Juan Castillo was on that staff. Leslie Frazier was on that staff. They had Brian Dawkins, Hugh Douglas.
Brent Childress, too, was on that staff.
Well, I'm talking about defensively.
Defensive side, yeah.
There's no wonder I had a hard time making first downs against the Eagles. Great coaching staff, and they had some really good players.
Sean took over the year that Jim Johnson passed away, was the defensive coordinator for those 2 seasons for Philly, now here in Carolina. Foles, again late, incomplete. Riley Cooper was the crossing receiver. Andy took the timeout to try to get a 2-minute drive going, and Carolina's his stalls as well.
Well, they used the scheme run on first down, Mike, and that's a hit or miss play, and that really hurt him on that drive, losing 5 yards. It's a credit to Charles Johnson, the highest paid Carolina Panther in club history, to ruin that drive for the Eagles.
Matt McBriar kicks. Joe Adams awaits. The punt is 42, and Adams got it at the 18. Carolina 3 timeouts. First half for Nick Foles, his first home start.
Well, he's lucky he hasn't thrown 3 interceptions. Sherrod Martin should have had 2 of them. He fumbled his snap in the red zone. Here's another one. A free safety read him like a book. Should have grabbed that ball. Here's another one. He's late to the outside. Josh Norman has a chance to go to the house, and you know, just now, he's lucky there, throwing the ball late down the middle. The best thing Foles has done so far is hand the ball to Bryce Brown. They got to go into the locker room at halftime, make sure he's clear with what he's doing with the football when things aren't there on time, because he's been laid out of rhythm. He's been lucky to get away with some of those.
We'll spread him out here with 41 seconds and all 3 timeouts. Newton hands to Jonathan Stewart. Protection is about 4 or 5 yards. The 23-yard line. Carolina not showing any signs of taking a timeout here with 30 seconds. They get the ball to start the third quarter.
You see Cam's body language there. He wants to get up and go. He's an emotional young man. It's been well documented. He even admitted it to us last night, Mike. He's got to keep his emotions under control a little bit better, and sometimes he's got to keep them under control a lot better.
Carolina gets the ball, start the third. 15-14. Eagles by 1. Here's Chris Berman and the Toyota halftime show. Those guys have been going at 50 years. They started their 50th anniversary tour Sunday in London. It's Monday in Philadelphia. The Eagles lead the Panthers by 1. Except for the third quarter, Lisa Salters down to the sideline. John Gruden, Mike Tirico here. Young quarterbacks, first and second year. Let's talk about how they did in the first half. Let's start with the Eagles guy, Nick Foles.
Well, he put points on the board. The best thing he did was direct this running game. He made some good audibles and good decisions, but he got away with some things, Mike. He stared down this receiver in the slot at the top of your screen, and Sherrod Martin should have intercepted this football, but you can't telegraph throws, particularly in the middle of the field. Watch Cam Newton. He does a great job of moving Kurt Coleman, the free safety, and it opens that seam for Barnage on a big opening drive touchdown. Newton's doing some good things. He's missed a couple throws, one big one at the end of the first half. I think Carolina's got to get back to some of those option plays that they ran early in the football game to see if Philadelphia can handle that.
It is Armonte Edwards back for this third quarter kickoff, and Alex Henry sending it away for the Eagles. Eagles trying to snap the 6-game losing streak. They are 3-7. Here's Edwards from the goal line. Not going to get to the 10-yard line, but Tolbert had the big hit on Matthews, and Casey is down for Philadelphia. That's where the penalty flag was thrown.
Personal foul, illegal peel back block, number 35 for the kicking team. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, that's wrong because it was the returning team, right? Okay. It was the returning team with the hit.
Half the distance to the goal. First down.
It wasn't peeling back. It was a block in the back, really, and the helmet-to-helmet contact. But it's half the distance and back to the 5-yard line. So Matthews comes over to the Philadelphia sideline. Training staff will look at him. Watch D'Amico Ryans in this Eagles defense that John gave up big drives. The first 2 drives as Cam Newton scored touchdowns, but last 4 drives they played better football. Starting from the 5, Newton on a roll. And out of his own end zone finds Brandon LaFell for the first down. And here's Lisa Salters.
Hey, Mike, well, I asked Ron Rivera, how do they get back to that good start that they got off to in the first half? And he said, first, we cannot give up big plays. We gave up a big run because a guy didn't set the edge. We can't give up the big plays. Also, we've got to be methodical on offense. Take what they give us, but also try to make big plays. I asked Andy Reid how to get his quarterback, Nick Foles, into a better rhythm. He said, hey, Nick Foles is a young guy. Every rep for Nick Foles is an important rep. And also, Mike, some injury updates for the Eagles. Deshaun Jackson, Fletcher Cox, both will not return to this game.
Cox had a tailbone injury, and Jackson had a sternum injury in that first half. There's Trent Cole throwing down D'Angelo Williams. Loss of a couple of yards.
Some of these design cutback runs take a long time, and watch number 58, Trent Cole, going up against Hartstock, number 84. Good job shedding the block and making a tackle. But some of these design cutback runs where the ball carrier starts to his right, then cuts back to his left and picks up a block, it's difficult against guys like Trent Cole. They've seen these plays a long time. They know how to get off blocks and make plays.
Some of those great sack numbers for Cole, only 1.5 this year. Newton to throw on 2nd and 11, launching downfield. Lewis Murphy goes up, comes down with it, and a flag down as Murphy's down at the 30. A long throw and catch, 54 yards.
What a catch, Mike. Lewis Murphy, Cam Newton's ex-Florida Gator teammate.
That's right.
Just goes right up against Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie, and once again,
Pass interference, number 23 to defense. Penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
teams target Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie. You saw it a couple weeks ago against the Cowboys. You're seeing it again tonight. What a catch by Lewis Murphy, who came over here in a trade with the Oakland Raiders, and you'd expect more from Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie. Great throw and catch.
Murphy was a fourth-round pick of the Raiders. That's his longest catch with the Panthers. He now has a dozen on the season. It's great field position for Carolina at the Philly 29. D'Angelo Williams the back. Newton flushed. Cam on the run. Williams can't bring it in.
And Cam's frustrated with himself there, probably frustrated a little bit with D'Angelo Williams. You escape congestion in the pocket. You get out of containment. You got an opportunity to run or throw. And you see Brandon Graham, number 54, after Cam. And there seems to be 4 or 5 plays in the passing game every week that come back to haunt this Carolina offense. Those are plays that they need to make.
Steve Smith just 2 catches on the night. Triple option look was well read. Patient for Philadelphia. And Akeem Jordan stops Newton.
That's good assignment defense right there. And we said it earlier, if you're going to defend the spread, you better be able to make one-on-one tackles. Cam Newton's going to keep the football, and Akeem Jordan has to make a one-on-one tackle. Fooled the cameraman again. I kept telling you, Mike. You Better be careful. You'll even fool the cameraman, but you have to be able to make one-on-one tackles, and that's exactly what Akeem Jordan has been coached to do all week, and I'd give him a sticker for the back of his helmet.
Think it helped them they played Washington last week and went through those assignments?
No question.
3rd and 12. Deep drop, Newton. Spinning out, no flag thrown, Cam on the run. 20, first down, 17-yard line. 14 on the game.
Trent Cole can't believe it. He thought he got held by Jordan Gross. And once again, Cam Newton, what a luxury he is. You be the judge at home. Does Jordan Gross hold? Trent Cole, I think it's a good call. No call. But you can't coach against this. When this big fella escapes, this is 256 pounds at 4'5'8", coming downhill. He knows exactly where that first down marker is. Great play by Newton.
Carolina in the red zone. Williams the carry. D'Angelo just inside the 15. So why doesn't Cam Newton run the ball more? You talk about how impressive he is. Well, Rob Chudzinski gave us a little hint to that. They try to limit the number of hits that he takes per game. Try to keep him through the season.
Well, they're very conscious on how many times Cam Newton carries the football. They're conscious of how many times Cam Newton gets hit. But they're also very aware that the best player on this football team is Cam Newton, and they're a little bit better when he carries it.
14 rushing touchdowns last year, broke Steve Grogan's NFL quarterback record. Ran for over 700 yards last season. 2nd and 7. Newton bailing. Newton 10. And out of bounds at the 5-yard line. It's 1st and goal as Asamoah came up to push him out.
Once again, you have to contain Cam Newton. It's easier said than done. I don't know how many times I've heard people say, you have to contain Cam Newton. You have to keep him in the pocket. Well, that's easier said than done. You have to credit the Carolina Panthers offensive line for giving Newton the time that he had to survey the defense and pull it down and run. And this is the area where Rob Chudzinski leans on number 1, Cam Newton, to run the football himself. A lot of direct quarterback runs in this situation.
Number 5, looking for the end zone. LaFell defended by Brandon Boykin, the rookie.
Nice play by Boykin. Great misdirection in the backfield, and Cam Newton is going to get a little fly route to the outside to LaFell, his big receiver. They like LaFell. They haven't had a number 2 receiver in Carolina that can go make the physical plays since Muhsin Muhammad, Mike, and LaFell continues to improve.
This drive started 5 minutes ago at the 5-yard line. Design run, Newton. You're talking about John got to the 1-yard line where it's 3rd and goal.
Quarterback sneaking from the 5-yard line. I heard him audible. We'll go back and you'll see yourself. He sees those wide alignments of the Eagles defensive tackles, and he's just going to say, hey, I'll sneak it myself. Good alert play by Cam Newton. And
Cedric Thornton and Derek Landry. The defensive tackles are, wait a minute, how'd you get by so fast there?
This is Cam Newton time right here. Every key situation at Auburn, in Carolina, they've relied on Newton to slam himself.
Extra lineman in. Newton.
Good.
Leaping for the end zone. Broke the play. Touchdown, Carolina.
And he'll do the Superman stretch right there. How about Cam Newton on a direct power out of the shotgun in Philadelphia? Launches himself behind Ben Hardstock. The pulling guard gets picked off. He looked like one of your NBA circus dunks right there, Mike. You got to be kidding me.
So if you're Chudzinski and you're in a world where you're going to limit the number of hits that he's going to take in the game, I'll use one down there at the 1 if he's going to do that.
Every key situation. He loves to compete. He's just a kid, too. You know, Nick Foles is 100 days older than Cam Newton.
Yep.
What a future.
And Graham Gano, former Redskin, first game kicking as a Panther, has 3 extra points. That drive was 95 yards. It was a 55-yard pass to Lewis Murphy. But when it mattered, Cam kept it, took it, and scored it. Philadelphia stopped for our Monday night crew on our 2012 Road Tour of America. You can see last year's Rookie of the Year, Cam Newton. Making his fantasy owners quite happy tonight. 2 touchdown passes and that touchdown run. 14-9, 4-yard runs got him down there. And that 1-yarder punched it in. Brandon Boykin going to take the short kick from the 4. And Boykin to the 28-yard line. Richie Brocco. Like up tight end and fullback on the stop. Newton with the Panthers up 6. Told you Deshaun Jackson's out for the remainder of the game with his sternum injury. No LaShawn McCoy, no Michael Vick. So chances to step up, and Bryce Brown, most yards by a player in his first NFL start in 8 years with his first half performance. And Nick Foles throws it to him out of the backfield, and Brown gains 6 forward progress. So mark him right around the 34, 35-yard line.
Carolina does an excellent job disguising coverage, but look at Bryce Brown, Mike, intercepting a shotgun handoff. He sees the cutback lane, takes it. Same play the other way. Gets a good seal block by King Dunlap. Picks up a block from Riley Cooper. Off he goes. Then again, they secure the edge, and Damaris Johnson gets a nice block. Some of this is great running. Some of this is bad defense by the Carolina Panthers, but Brown has had a career night tonight.
Hey, on cue, there's that same snap that he steps in front of Foles, and Brown keeps going for the first down across the 39-yard line.
Well, he's making a lot of yardage after contact. Strong lower body. He intercepts the shotgun handoff. Watch the ball. Just a zone block play off the right side. Good move there. Nice job fighting for an extra 2 yards to get the first down. He's protected the ball. He's ran the ball on the edges. He's made some nice cutback runs, showcased his vision. Impressive night.
He's got 135 with that run. Third consecutive touch, got a couple of yards. You mentioned Correll Buckhalter's performance back in 2001 as an Eagle rookie. That was the record, 134 yards in that game, but Brown has now set the Eagle rookie rushing in-game record.
Been very persistent, Mike, with the running game. Nick Foles threw the ball over 50 times. At least that's how many passes they called last week, and they've stayed with it all night tonight.
16 runs, 18 passes. The flag is down for the offside. Nobody touched Jeremy Macklin, so he hopped up. They'll mark him back at that first spot. Say he was touched at the 43. That's an Eagle first down.
Frank Alexander, number 90, the rookie.
Offside, number 90, the defense. Penalty is declined. The result of the play, first down.
Good work with the hard count. You know, when you change quarterbacks, it's hard to get everybody on the same page with the snap count. But Philadelphia has done a nice job. Extra week of practice for Nick Foles is shown tonight.
Nose tackle Ron Edwards out for Carolina. Sione Fua is in. Charles Johnson saying they sent me that way.
Neutral zone infraction. Number 95, the defense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
And the official says no, he didn't.
Ron Rivera can't be happy with this at all. Jeremy Macklin better be careful at the bottom of the screen. Charles Johnson, he's played enough football to know that referees aren't going to miss that one.
You saw him getting past Dennis Kelly, the right tackle. Kelly and King Dunlap, the 2 tackles, as tall as you're going to find 2 tackles out there. Brown coming left, got away from Luke Kuechly with a beautiful move. Then he fumbled the football, and Kuechly recovers.
It's the kind of play Luke Kuechly is. He misses a tackle. He does not quit. He ends up making the recovery. And that's what the young backs have to do. You can make all the yards you want, but you must secure the football, and once again, turnovers doom the Eagles.
Game's first turnover is the third fumble recovery for the 9th overall pick for last year's draft, Luke Kuechly out of Boston College. Also has an interception, so 11 games, 4 takeaways for Kuechly. Let's grant Sione Fua. He came in for the injured Ron Edwards and caused the fumble. Jonathan Stewart, carry of 2.
Well, if you hustle, good things happen. Right here, Luke Kuechly, number 59. He's going to track the ball carrier. He's not going to make the tackle, but he stays after it. Sione Fua, number 94, forces a fumble, and Kuechly gets up off the ground, shows good alertness, recovers the football. Great young prospect. He's got tremendous instincts, real passion for the game, and he's at the right place with Anderson, Thomas Davis, Ron Rivera, ex-linebacker himself. They love him.
2nd and 8 for Cam Newton and the Panthers. Scored a touchdown on the last drive. Oh, he gets away from 3 Eagles. Cam keeps this one alive. And it's a lot of work for no gain. There's Vinny Curry.
Hey, Vinny Curry's first game, Mike. He's got a chance to go in there and get a sack. You wonder about the playing strength of Cam Newton. Heck, he's as big as all these Eagle defensive linemen. Lots of penetration. There's 2 Philadelphia Eagles beating down on Cam Newton. Curry, Landry, no problem. He beats Brandon Graham. That's one of the most exciting 3-yard runs I've seen this year.
Well, you talked about Kuechly and retracing his steps. Curry goes down. He's the one who gets back up and makes the play. He's the 2nd-round pick for this team out of Marshall. And it's the first time he's playing tonight.
Good effort.
Third and 7, the Eagles blitz. And Newton's throw is incomplete for the tight end, Greg Olsen.
Good blanket coverage by the Eagles secondary. Todd Bowles, defensive coordinator, dials up a blitz. Important series that time by the Philadelphia Eagle defense. Bryce Brown, your rookie running back, fumbles. You answer the bell by getting a 3-and-out stop.
See that net, 26.3 for Nortman. That's about a dozen below the league average. High kick. Fairclough, 35 yards and no return to Myers Johnson. Eagles take over at their own 30. Quick move in 3rd quarter. It's dwindling down. Week 13 wraps up next week with a good one just outside the nation's capital. Eli and RG3, Giants and the Redskins, 8:30 Eastern on Monday Night Football. Bryce Brown fumbled last time. His first run gains about a yard, and you see King Dunlap wedged in there. The tackle for the Eagles. As the pile went one way, Dunlap had his leg stuck in there. The left tackle for Philadelphia shaken up. This decimated Eagle offensive line with another injury. Didn't look good. King Dunlap was caught up in that pile, now just grabbing another lineman just to test the stability of his leg.
That's ugly.
Yeah, he gets rolled up on. It's a big man hitting the deck at 6'9", 330. Demetrius Bell replaces him. And on 2nd and 9, Foles. Pass complete. And Jeremy Macklin has the first down. Again in front of the rookie Josh Norman.
That's a nice throw by Nick Foles. He turns his back to the defense, flashes his eyes out of the fake, and throws a perfect strike to Jeremy Macklin on an outside breaking route. Those are the throws that get you excited about Nick Foles. 6'5" pocket passer.
Johnson in motion. Just a fake. Foles loading up. Taking a shot from Macklin down the middle. Incomplete. And a flag comes in as Josh Norman and Haruki Nakamura were back in coverage.
I don't understand pass interference, Mike.
Pass interference. Number 43, the defense. Automatic first down.
It's a 51-yard penalty. Nakamura has come out in a lot of passing situations.
Had his arm in there. See it right there. Boy, what a huge penalty.
51. So it's first and goal for the Eagles, this team that has struggled in the red zone. The Browns run it well tonight, and he's going for the edge. And he's got touchdown number 2 on the night.
I give Andy Reid and Marty Morningwig, the offensive coordinator, a lot of credit for going right back to the rookie running back. A lot of times a rookie fumbles, I'd start screaming and yelling, and I'd say, you go sit on the bench. I'd give it to somebody else. But Andy Reid goes right back to his rookie, and he says, hey, you've earned it. Now go finish the game. That's an excellent job by Bryce Brown, and you got to give Andy Reid and Marty Morningwig a big assist there. I hope Bryce Brown thanks him when the game's over.
Some night. 149 yards, 2 touchdowns. Well, a 51-yard penalty for pass interference. And the Bryce is right again, and the Eagles lead. Eagles lead by 1. You mentioned Andy Reid going right back to the play he called. You know about his play calling background. 20 years ago, there you are. Steve Mariucci, Andy Reid, all part of Mike Holmgren's staff in Green Bay.
We used to stay in there all night trying to come up with plays. And maybe Mike Holmgren would actually get one of them that he liked and put it on his sideline sheet. That's what we were after. We wanted to get Mike Holmgren to put one of our plays on his sideline sheet and call them.
It's a big deal.
We used to argue about that all the time, and Andy Reid, he always got plays on the sideline sheet. And then Mariucci got a couple, and Reid would walk around gloating, hey, Grudog, I got 6 plays on the sheet. You got none. It used to drive me crazy, but Andy was always real sharp with the X's and O's, and I still accuse him of being Holmgren's teacher's pet, but he got a lot of plays on that sideline sheet.
And those guys over the years have had a lot of success with that offense over time. And Mike Holmgren today stepping down as the Cleveland Browns president, where he's been for quite some time. It's a great lab, amazing staff, and a collection of people and talents together over the years, Super Bowl champs. There goes Armani Edwards. Good pursuit for the tackle back at the 30-yard line by Curtis Marsh.
Tell you what, though, Mike, we all had these big Buick LeSabres. Mike Holmgren had this big gold Buick LeSabre. Man, he had all these plays, his sideline sheets. He'd leave, and then Andy Reid had a big red one just like Mike Holmgren. I used to say, man, you guys are... And Mariucci, he'd go down to Santa Cruz and go over plays with Mike Holmgren at his log cabin. I'd be back in Ashwaubenon. Look at my house, I got a bad Buick LeSabre. You know
what's that?
I'm going to get back at Andy Reid and Holmgren and Mariucci for that. Look at that LeSabre I had to drive.
Are those actual cars? Is that a true story?
Yes.
From the 32, here comes Williams to the left, and he's taken down, a loss of a couple of yards. And a good play by D'Amico Ryans. So Andy Reid obviously under a lot of fire here, John. And when we met with him the other day and talked about what's the goal, what's the future, what's the big plan here the last 6 weeks, he was talking about, I got to find the first play. I've got to call the first 15 plays and get Nick Foles going. There was such, and Ron Rivera's the same thing, attention to what's next and not what's going down the line here.
Oh, he likes the fire. He likes the kitchen hot. He doesn't feel pressure. He applies it. I don't think he has a fear in his body about the consequences. I think he just wants to coach football. He's very confident in his abilities.
Screen to Greg Olsen. He trips and falls as he was trying to get ahead of steam. And no gain. D'Angelo Williams has been the back here for this series, as Jonathan Stewart has been on the sideline for this Carolina team, which is now down by 1.
These are the kind of games that Carolina's in every week, Mike. Tight ball games. They play good football. As this game heads toward the 4th quarter, it's time for Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers to step up on a national stage and win one late.
Third and 11. Flushed by Patterson, who brings him down. Mike Patterson, who had a rare brain condition that caused a seizure last year. Didn't play until 3 games ago. He had 6 hours of brain surgery before getting back to football. Comes up with a much-deserved sack.
Well, you're going to see a lot of line stunts. You see Mike Patterson on a 3-way stunt loop to the outside. Cam Newton never saw it. Great job by Jim Washburn, the defensive line coach, using a stunt to help contain Cam Newton that time. They didn't block it.
Bad series there. Another average kick, fair caught, 43 yards. And Damaris Johnson gives Philadelphia good field position with 1:23 left in this third quarter.
And if you just look out in that huddle, Mike, of the Philadelphia Eagles, Deshaun Jackson's gone for the night. Number 13 has stepped up. Johnson, undrafted rookie. Nick Foles, rookie. Bryce Brown, we've talked about all night, as another undrafted rookie. Kelly at right tackle. Dallas Reynolds at center. I never played this much inexperience in a preseason game. The Eagles have to be proud of the way their young players on both sides of the ball have stepped up.
This is the biggest step-up guy of the night. Bryce Brown lost the football for the second time. And it's recovered by the man we talked about at the beginning of the game. Thomas Davis, returning from 3 ACL injuries.
Stripped the ball last week on the goal line against Tampa Bay.
Charles Johnson with the strip here. Second fumble for Brown.
Line pursuit play. You're going to watch Thomas Davis, and you'll see why he's the Gruden grinder. He gets off a block, and actually Davis recovered the fumble. It was Charles Johnson who poked the ball out. How does Charles Johnson get into a Pro Bowl? Outstanding pass rusher for the Panthers for the last 3 seasons. He's been anointed as a captain of this team. Fumbling will keep you on the sideline in this league.
Teaching moment with Andy Reid on the sideline with his rookie running back. And D'Angelo Williams carries now the Jonathan Stewart story that we mentioned a moment ago. The Panthers starting running back, ankle injury, drive go, and his return is questionable. So D'Angelo Williams and Mike Tolbert in the backfield.
Important that Carolina takes advantage of this field position. 1-point ball game. Newton with another play or two before the end of the third quarter. This is normally the time and the place that Rob Chudzinski and Cam Newton like to take shots. Plus side of the 40.
Quiet night, Steve Smith. 2 receptions. Seeing attention from the Eagles defense. Newton comes back to Brandon LaFell. They gave all the attention to Smith on that side. LaFell was left alone and gets to the 24-yard line, a gain of 20.
Great receivers benefit you more than just on a stat sheet. That time they put Steve Smith into the slot. He runs a corner route, and you're going to see a double. And they don't cover the receiver at the top of the screen. Everybody sank. No coverage to the outside. I don't know if Nnamdi Asomugha is supposed to get there, but that's an easy 15-yard gain to close the quarter.
Well, the fourth quarter, and what's new? The Panthers are close. What they've done is not close. We'll see what they do tonight. We've had 4 lead changes here tonight. Carolina led 14-3 after 1. Bryce Brown for the injured LaShawn McCoy. 2 touchdown runs. An Eagle rookie record for rushing yards, but also 2 fumbles. Latest of which is giving Carolina the ball in good field position, and Cam Newton trying to retake the lead. His team at the 24, Philly. It was a Newton touchdown run. The Panthers score here in this second half. Cam, slant, Olsen, the tight end, knocked forward to the 12-yard line. First down.
That's tough to stop. They show the read option. They force the Eagle linebackers to step up. Watch the fake to D'Angelo Williams. Keem Jordan steps up, vacates the seam, and that's just an easy, sharp lookie to Greg Olsen, who's an outstanding receiving tight end. And he likes this offense. Rob Chudzinski, the offensive coordinator, loves to use tight ends. He was in San Diego with Antonio Gates. He knows how to get the tight end to rock.
Back in the red zone. Cam on the keep, and Newton goes down before the hit. Got 3 yards. John, you just showed Olsen who had the catch. We talked to him last night. Asked him how his Thanksgiving was. He had a huge smile on his face. He and his wife, many of you may have heard the story. His son TJ, rare birth defect, left side of his heart, was critically undeveloped. So with no cure for that disease, for anyone outside of their 20s, they had to go to Boston for exploratory surgery. experimental surgery. And Jerry Richardson, the team owner, heart transplant recipient in his own. Private plane took the Olsons up there. The procedure happened. All the twins and the Olsons were home for Thanksgiving together. A couple more surgeries ahead, but very hopeful. Cam keeps. Newton made a man miss. Vinny Curry finally brings him down at the 5. Well, 3rd and 3 coming up.
Well, Brandon Boykin and Kurt Coleman. What do they get fooled? He's coming right into your living room. 2 Philadelphia Eagles are there to make the tackle. Neither one of them's there. And again, Mike, in these critical 3rd down and 2.5 to 3 yard situations, I'll ask you, who do you think is going to carry the football on this play?
I know who option 1 is. The big tall guy. They see that War Eagle sign there in the end zone. Auburn fan. Mike Tolbert's the back next to him. Newton throwing. Steve Smith couldn't bring it in. Kendricks, the rookie, out of Cal, was with him to force a field goal attempt.
That's why they like Michael Kendricks, another Philadelphia Eagle rookie, because he can play on every down. He's an outstanding athlete, number 95. He's running with Steve Smith on 3rd down and goal at crunch time. Good play.
So here's Graham Gano. Justin Medlock, rookie, made 7 field goals to start, then missed 3 in a row. They cut him and signed the former Washington Redskin, Gano. 23-yarder for the lead. And he's got that. Showed up in Carolina, wanted number 4. It was John Casey's old number. He switched quick.
Good move.
Aerial coverage tonight from Philadelphia is brought to you by DirecTV.
Interesting to see here, Mike, if Andy Reid goes back to his rookie Bryce Brown after those 2 fumbles with the game on the line, or if he goes with his younger back, Dion Lewis.
Well, he's got that helmet on, ready to go. We'll see if Reid calls his number. Brandon Boykin, 5 deep, going to bring it out. Riley Cooper trying to lead the way with a block. Boykin gets to the edge. Brought down at the 15 by Haruki Nakamura, the safety. Well, John, you mentioned the fumbles with Bryce Brown. Also had the touchdown. This explosive turn to the corner. 65 yards. Put him over 100 for the night. Showing good speed at 6 foot and 223. And then this is the 3rd quarter run. But on either side of that 3rd quarter touchdown run, fumbles. One caused by Sione Fua. And the other one caused by Charles Johnson. And the linebackers, Kuechly, then Davis, came up with the recoveries. And Brown is back in there. Carolina tried to sell that there was motion back there. They didn't get it. King Dunlap back in the game at left tackle, and Brown's on the run. Hit from behind, they go right after the ball, but he got all the way out to the 38-yard line, gain of 23.
Great audible by Nick Foles. He sees the strong safety blitz. He audibles to a weak side run. There's no question Bryce Brown can see it. Here's the strong safety, so they audible to a weak side run. But watch the way Brown carries the ball. You're going to see it swinging away from his body. He's got to protect the football or he's going to fumble again, Mike.
Yep.
There's no question he has tremendous ability, but he's got to secure the ball in this league. The word is out. He's got some fumbling problems.
Quick hitch, complete to a 46-yard line to Macklin. It was Josh Norman trying to knock it out on that run by Brown. I was almost I could see Thomas Davis coming over. It was like a veteran, and the rookie Prey was, I see the ball, I'm coming after it.
You got to put the groceries away in traffic. A Panther will take a big bite out of that ball. They got to be very careful. Fumbles, they've had 26 of them this year. One more, and Andy Reid might really blow a gasket.
Saw Foles with this check earlier in the game to Lewis. First down across midfield, Deon Lewis the carry.
These are the things that you see the advanced quarterbacks doing, Mike. They're in a balanced formation. They want to run the ball to the right or to the left. But Foles sees the overload coming to his right, so he says, hey, let's go the other way, and he runs to his left. That's back-to-back run audibles by Nick Foles. And Deion Lewis sure appreciates it. That's just good heads-up football, good game planning by this Eagle coaching staff.
Difference in the systems that you were brought up in. This guy's been in a passing system all the way back to high school. Brown, that fourth direct snap, and Charles Godfrey has seen enough of that. He sniffed it out and makes the play. We go back to high school and the type of system that Foles was playing in. Same high school as Drew Brees, Westlake High School in Austin, Texas. Matter of fact, broke Brees' record, even though he played his senior season through an injury, a torn labrum, didn't tell anybody about it. Kind of fought his way through it, played through it, got his team to the state championship. But being around that offensive depth playbook there and then Arizona, and he's brought that to his rookie season here in Philly. 2nd and 11, there's a draw for Brown. Out to the 45, Greg Hardy, the tackle.
They continue to run this draw play, this creative Howard Mudd draw play at Frank Alexander, the rookie of Oklahoma. He's going to set Alexander like it's a pass and go block the linebacker. Charles Johnson smelled it out at the end of the first half, but that's the second time they've got the rookie Frank Alexander from Oklahoma. And it sets up a huge 3rd and 6. You brought up Drew Brees. Nick Foles needs to be like Drew Brees. Convert one in the air.
3rd and 8, just try to shovel it through Stanley Havili with the catch. And where is he brought down? That mark coming near that unofficial first down mark at the 39. So Havili, the first-year player out of USC, bringing the chain gang out for a measurement.
It's a nice little cross bucks middle screen to Havili. I like what Philadelphia's done with his game plan. They have not put their offensive line in any difficult situations tonight. High percentage throws. They've leaned on a strong running game, and outside of Bryce Brown's 2 fumbles, Eagles have looked good with a lot of rookies and first-year players, Mike.
8:53. Need a half a foot. Down 2. And Andy will go for it.
I didn't think Andy Reid would even blink.
Even on a 3-7, 7-3 Eagles team.
Eagles are 5 for 5,
3-7.
Mike. 5 for 5 on 4th and 1, and Ron Rivera and his Carolina Panther defense, they're no slouches either in this situation.
Havili, the lead back for Bryce Brown. Fighting forward, he's laying on top of body, so he's not stopped, but now he is. They won't even need to measure this. Rivera's Panther defense comes up with the 4th down stop.
They stuffed that play. There wasn't any doubt. Dwan Edwards. Great play.
Andy Reid decides to go for it. His team 3-7. Ron Rivera's team 2-8, and they have been devoid of big plays in the 4th quarter when games have been on the line. Mostly have gone against them. 8.5 left, and they came up with the play to get the ball back to Cam Newton, up 2 points. Now, 1st down, Newton looking downfield. Steve Smith is open. He's brought down inside the 30.
Well, I love that. You get a critical 4th and 1 stop from your defense, and you come right back to Steve Smith, the all-time leading receiver, on a double move against Nnamdi Asomugha. Great throw by Newton. I love the aggressive call after a sudden change. Put the ball in Steve Smith's hands and let him win you a football game in a 4th quarter.
31 yards. Former Heisman winner Newton back in the shotgun. D'Angelo Williams stopped for no gain by Michael Kendricks. Jonathan Stewart out with that ankle injury for the Panthers. So it's Williams carrying the ball here late.
And obviously, a touchdown makes this a two-possession ball game.
Remember Philadelphia when they scored to make it 14-12 in the first half, went for 2 in the tie, didn't go for 1. They didn't make the 2-point conversion, and now you're sitting in a situation where 7 would make it a 2-score game, like you said. Newton getting ready to take off, but he was getting ready for the hit, too, from Kendricks. So he goes down as Babin touches him down at the 30.
That's that play action we talked about in the pregame. They're looking for Steve Smith to end Philadelphia's night. Cam just didn't like it. You see Olsen come across and block the edge. They're looking for Steve Smith on the right side of your screen on a post pattern. I thought Cam was going to let him have a chance. Steve Smith to the post. He wanted to rock. Big third down and long.
New field goal kicker, remember. From here, a field goal will be 46 or 47 yards. Cam shovel pass to Mike Tolbert. With a flag down, Tolbert's got a first down for the moment. If it stands at the 15, this flag is on the far side of the field at the line of scrimmage.
But this is against the Eagles, Mike.
93 lined up in the neutral zone. Penalty will be declined. The result of the play is a first down.
Jason Babin lines up offside, and a 3rd and 9 shovel gives Carolina a first down in the red zone with 6:40 to go.
Mike Tolbert, the ex-San Diego Charger, delivers one of the biggest plays of the night. Remember, Tolbert carried the ball almost 300 times himself the last 2 years in San Diego. Caught 80 passes, plays special teams. How many backs do the Carolina Panthers have? I'd like to be their running back coach.
You know, a lot of money invested in them, $47 million in Stewart and Williams and Tolbert, who they brought in this year. Williams cut back to the 13. Another flag came down. You saw the helmet of Cedric Thornton come off.
Well, they're offsides again on defense, and you can go after sacks all you want.
Number 54 defense, 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
You got back-to-back offsides penalties with the game on the line. Brandon Graham, Jason Babin. That's a shame. And Andy Reid, I'm sure, is just beside himself.
Under 6 minutes left. Wow. It's the hat trick. And Newton with the hard count.
Well, Cam Newton's going to get in the huddle and do it again. You watch.
Encroachment. Number 72 defense. 5-yard penalty, and the result of the penalty is a first down.
Watch the ball. Concentrate. Listen at home. Three in a row.
See Jim Washburn, the defensive line coach, talking to the free agent Cedric Thornton, his first year in the league. Washburn's been around a long time. Tennessee. First and goal at the 6. And here comes Williams. D'Angelo takes it. 2-yard line. Vinny Curry comes down to make the tackle. 2nd and goal, and we'll go under 5 minutes left.
Philadelphia needs to be in an all-out stop mode right now. Get your best run defenders out on the field. You have to get off the field without allowing a touchdown. These offside penalties, you have to somehow forget about it. Get on to the next play. They need to man up now and have one of the best stops of the year, or they're in deep trouble.
Newton on the run. Cam to the goal line. 2nd rushing touchdown for Cam Newton.
That slam Newton on a direct power off the left side, right behind their Pro Bowler Jordan Gross. They pull the backside guard and they pound the ball across the goal line. This is what Cam Newton did in the SEC. Everybody said he'll never be able to do this in the NFL. Well, guess what? He's doing it better at this level than he did in the SEC. I don't know how many rushing touchdowns Cam Newton has in a year and a half.
20.
That's a lot, Mike.
It's 20 in 27 games. Ooh, that extra point is wide to the right, and it's still a one-score game. So we mentioned that the new kicker, Graham Gano, just here, not handled all the extra points. That's the rare missed extra point. Wide to the right, still a one-score game. 34-degree night here in Philadelphia. Place was three-quarters full, even more than that early on. A lot of the fans headed for the exits halftime, and then after the score there in the third quarter, as the Panthers took the lead, and then that Cam Newton's second rushing touchdown. He's thrown for 2, puts his team up 8, and the extra point was missed by Graham Gano, and it's a one-score game. Brandon Boykin on the return for the Eagles, and there goes Boykin past Gano, fumble the football. Gary Barnidge recovers for the Panthers. Sherrod Martin, I think, punched it out of there. So after Gano missed the extra point, Martin knocks it away. A third lost fumble for the Eagles. Sports Center coming up after the game. Steve Levy, Scott Van Pelt back in the studio. Susie Colbert, Trent Dilfer, Steve Young here with the GMC postgame. Word on a potential return for Ray Lewis for the Ravens in the top plays in Week 12, including the 4th and 29. Converted by Ray Rice. The Sports Center follows the game as we start a good week of sports here on ESPN, and that is another rookie crushed that he turned it over. John, 3 fumbles, all 3 by rookies. Brandon Boykin, the latest.
Well, we said it last week, be aware of blind pursuit. Sherrod Martin, who had dropped 2 interceptions earlier, says, if I can't catch it tonight, I'm just going to rip it out of your chest and get it somehow. I credit the effort of Martin, and it's Cam Newton time. He loves to carry the ball. They love to put the ball in Newton's hands in the 4-minute drill to close you out.
3 turnovers tonight. You saw -9 in the 6-game losing streak, -17 on the season. D'Angelo Williams, he goes out of bounds at the 34-yard line. 4:25 to go, but a flag down for a hold.
84 offense, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Ben Hartsock.
Could have got number 11, Brandon LaFell, as well. Carolina can't self-destruct. They get the turnover. It's time to close the opponent out, and to commit a 10-yard penalty with an 8-point lead in that field position, hard to believe.
And John, it has been the story of their season. The close calls that they've had. And even on that extra point, they're in position to go up 2 scores.
They played good football, but they haven't played very well when they've needed to the most. And that would be the final 5 minutes of the ball game.
Penalty sends it back to 1st and 20. And they're going to throw here. Newton to Steve Smith. Asamoah the tackle at the 45-yard line, gain of 6.
If I'm Cam Newton, I'm going to go back to that hard count, Mike.
Timeout, Andy Reid in Philadelphia here at 4:15. You talked about how Carolina could be 4 or 5 plays away from flipping their season. For some teams, it's lip service. They say that when it's a bad year. Jerry Richardson's Carolina Panthers, it is. Talking about one of the few men in NFL history who played in the league. He was part of the Baltimore Colts in '59. Became the first former player since George Halas to become an owner here in the league. Got to talk to him before the game. He's been talking to Ron Rivera. Remember, they fired the GM Marty Herney earlier this season. Richardson and his executive staff doing the evaluation of this second-year coach, Ron Rivera. And Ron Rivera and Richardson have conversations once or twice a week. And they know where the record is at 2-8. You know where that can lead at the end of a season in all likelihood. But Richardson has continued to say, I want to see progress. I want to see things that are happening on the field, not necessarily just the record. But you know they've got to win some games here to have any chance of Rivera coming back for a 3rd year in Carolina. Because they're a decent 2-8 team, which sounds silly to say until you examine how they've lost their games. Newton smartly slides down to the line of scrimmage, doesn't go out of bounds, but there's penalty marker down About 5 or 6 yards downfield.
Michael Kendricks injured on the play.
Holding, number 95 defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
And there's Kendricks. So here was a 2nd and 14, and instead it'll be a first down for the Panthers.
Wow. It's the 4th defensive penalty in the last 8 snaps of the ball game. And
Yep.
you have Carolina way behind in the down and distance, and rookies are playing a lot of snaps tonight. You've seen Bryce Brown fumble twice, Brandon Boykin fumble the kickoff, and now Michael Kendricks commits a huge penalty. Let's see if Carolina can go for the knockout blow here.
Tolbert leading the way for D'Angelo Williams. This 7, Philly's going to take its second time out here, John, with 4:01 to go.
This is when you're Cam Newton. You want to get your offense in a huddle, and you demand that we finish the game on the field as an offense. Run the ball, run the clock out.
It's where they failed this year.
Timeout, Philadelphia, second team timeout. A 30-second timeout.
But, you know, we talked about this Eagle defense making memorable plays. I'll walk out of here tonight if the game ends right now remembering nothing but the penalties at the end of this football game. The 3 offsides, the holding penalty with the game on the line. You don't give your football team a chance. The Eagle defense had 4 interceptions of Brandon Weeden in the first game of the year against the Cleveland Browns. I can't remember an interception since, Mike. They just haven't created turnovers. They haven't ripped the ball away from the opposing offense. And for this group to have 7 takeaways is mind-blowing to me. We keep hearing about all the talent. They need to get some turnovers.
Mention what they did to Weeden in that first start, just 3 turnovers as the season's gone on. Williams tackled the 44, and here's the final timeout taken by Philadelphia at 3:56. And we're talking about the 4-minute offense, the inability to close the game for Carolina. Here are the examples of why they feel like they're a little bit better. They couldn't close it out against Atlanta. 4th and 1, didn't make it, so they're back, go down the field and get the touchdown. They had a double-digit lead against Chicago. Steve Smith falls, Tim Jennings scores. Bears come out of there with a win at the gun. And then last week, again, 4-minute offense failure, tying touchdown, 2-point conversion. Dallas Clark the winner for Tampa Bay. And it's been the story not just of this year, but of Ron Rivera's 2 years.
And at 3rd down and 4 inside of 4 minutes. Been all Cam Newton tonight. I'd be shocked if they don't put the ball in his hands. He's thrown for 285. He's run for 55. He's accounted for 4 touchdowns.
When they take a delay game, they get the timeout.
Timeout.
He's coming out 1 timeout, need to take another one. Certainly see enough examples of 3 and 7 and 2 and 8 tonight. Cam Newton gave you 4 touchdowns if you own him in fantasy. 2 through the air. 1 to Gary Barnidge. Brandon LaFell. It's been once a game for the Eagles the last few weeks, guys. That wide open. That's your slam Newton. 1. Slam 2.
Slam Newton. I'll tell you. Where can he go? He looks like he plays a position like I've never seen played. I mean, a lot of people don't think it's going to survive this offense. You can't win a Super Bowl playing this kind of offense. I don't know, man.
These are the kind of nights you thought you'd see from him. 330-plus yards, 4 touchdowns, no turnovers so far. And it's been impressive now. Can they close the game out here with 3:56 to go? 3rd and 4. Eagles out of timeouts. Carolina will throw for it. Newton wide open. Lewis Murphy just goes down at the 34-yard line for the first down.
Man-to-man coverage, and Todd Bowles can't believe it. They run a double crossing route. And You're just going to see two crossing routes, and watch the two Philadelphia Eagles run into each other. They get picked on the play, and no one covers. Number 83 for the Carolina Panthers, Louis Murphy's made a couple big plays. Wow.
No timeouts. Best Philly can do if they stop him is get the ball back with about 1:50 left on the other side of the 2. D'Angelo Williams runs it to the 30-yard line. Philly powerless to stop it.
You know, this Carolina Panther offensive line, they've done a nice job tonight. Other than Jordan Gross, you wouldn't know any of these Carolina Panthers at the beginning of the season, really, Mike. Silitolu's a rookie left guard out of Midwestern State. Bright prospect. Hangardner, 63, is a center. He's really a right guard pressed into service because Khalil's out. I see number 72 out there playing Jeremy Bridges. It's been a turnstile at right guard. Byron Bell's back at right tackle. They played well tonight.
Last snap before the 2-minute warning. Run up the middle for Williams. 3 yards shy, and this will take it down to the 2. Philly powerless to stop it. And they'll have to try to stop the Panthers in the next couple of snaps, or it'll be 7 straight losses for the Eagles. 30-22. 2-minute warning. Holiday lights getting set for the Christmas season. GMC postgame is coming up on SportsCenter. As soon as we're done here in Philadelphia, people have thought it would be a very hostile crowd here tonight. It instead has turned into a preseason game. It is a small collection. You could fit next door at the Phillies ballpark. Matter of fact, the Phillies have won a game more recently than the Eagles. The Phillies won on October 1st, the day after the Eagles' last win. 2-minute warning. Eagles out of timeouts. 3rd and 3. A first down will end the game. And it's Newton keeping, rolling, throwing to Tolbert, who's got the first down. Slides down, and the game is in the hands of the Panthers.
I don't think they wanted to kick a field goal. I don't think they trusted Graham Gano in this situation. They slide Tolbert out of the backfield. Cam gets out of trouble and makes a perfect throw. And Tolbert shows you he's a veteran. See him stay in bounds there, Mike?
Yep.
He knows the only enemy is the clock.
You're surprised that they were even throwing the ball there with Newton?
I am surprised. But after Gano missed that extra point, I can't say I'm shocked. But another horrible loss for the Eagles, and you got to credit this young man, Cam Newton. He's been dominant tonight from start to finish. 360 yards of all-purpose offense. He ran it, he threw it.
It's a Panther team that had lost its last 18 road games when trailing at halftime. They were behind by 1, and credit their defense, pitched a fourth-quarter shutout. They had not held their opponents scoreless in the fourth quarter in their last 23 games. They tied the NFL record for not blanking a team in the fourth quarter. But they do it here tonight. And both of these teams are 3-8. It's 30-22, the final tally tonight. First time in Cam Newton's career where he ran for 2 touchdowns and threw for 2 touchdowns. As Andy Reid with a greeting for his former assistant coach, Ron Rivera, and it's now 7 consecutive losses for Andy Reid. Hasn't had a run like that in his career. Well, Cam Newton, he was hoping to play that man, Michael Vick. He grew up in Atlanta with a Michael Vick jersey, idolizing Vick. And we'll see what the Eagles do next Sunday night, another nationally televised game. They play Dallas. See if Nick Foles is the quarterback or Vick. Carolina goes to Kansas City next Sunday. 30-22, Panthers over the Eagles with John Gruden, Lisa Salters, and our Monday Night Football team. Mike Tirico, good night from Philadelphia. It's been a presentation of ESPN. Steve Levy, Scott Van Pelt standing by. Here comes SportsCenter.